Yes, so we have a few of you here, and those who haven't joined yet can, continue joining as the webinar proceeds. So I'm assuming that because all of you are here, you already know a little about IELTS, but to give you a small, discussion or a brief idea about what IELTS is. So IELTS is generally this course that you have to give when you want to, move abroad for either studying or working. It depends on the situation you are looking for. And in case you are moving abroad to study, then you will have to do your academic IELTS. And in case you're moving abroad for working, then you will have to do your general IELTS. So that's the major difference. And today we are going to be talking about speaking likes and dislikes. So when it comes to a speaking exam, many of them, do it in a very formal way, but actually your speaking exam is a very, very informal exam where you can go really casually and just have a little chat with your examiner and come back. So when having a little chat, it is natural that you mention about things you like and the things you dislike. So that is exactly what we are going to be looking at today, how you can present clear, structured sentences, conveying facts, conveying things that you like and dislike. Okay, so now before we jump into that, I will just give you a small description. Reading, all of you know that it has 3 sections and it lasts for 1 hour and you have to attend 40 questions. Okay, and your important skills are skimming and scanning when it comes to reading. And then you have your writing. You have to complete 2 essays and you have to complete this within 1 hour. So that is something. And next you have your speaking. And when it comes to speaking, your speaking test lasts for around 11 to 14 minutes and not more than that. And it's a one-on-one conversation. So mainly you're tested on your, fluency, pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. These are the main things that you're tested on. And then last but not your least, your listening. Where did the listening go? Okay, I might have missed the listening somewhere. So your listening again has 40 questions, but you have only 30 minutes for it. And you have to, listen to it and proceed accordingly. Yes. Okay. Now, as we proceed, for those who have any doubts or would like to say something, please drop it in the chat box or just raise your hands. I will answer your questions at the end of the session. And for those who, have doubts, you can also keep them in mind. And at the end, I'll give you some time to ask, questions. And that time we can, go through all of them. Okay. So your part 1, when it comes to your part 1 of the speaking exam, just a second. Okay. Let me share with you the video. The lesson. Yes. Okay. So your part 1 speaking, it has, so your part 1 in your speaking exam has quite topics that are quite familiar to yourself, like, questions like what food you like or where you studied and about your hometown. So very close knit questions is what they ask you in your part 1. Very easy. Part 1 is generally the easiest when it comes to your speaking test. Okay. There are a lot of topics and it is almost impossible to predict what you will be asked about. So it is essential that you know to come up with answers on the spot and you cannot memorize anything. Okay. So, okay. Can somebody tell me how much time do you actually require to answer your, question when it comes to your part 1 speaking? It says not too long, not too short. So does anybody know the ideal sentences that number of sentences that you should use? Anybody? Okay. So like it's mentioned here, it's not too long, it's not too short, and it's essential that you use complete sentences and sentences that are error free when it comes to grammar, okay, or any kind of error. You should not speak for more than two sentences, okay? So one sentence will be too less, but two, sometimes very rarely three is enough. Please, please, please do not use four sentences, five sentences. I would generally, what I would suggest is, in case they ask you, what is your hometown? So in case you want to say something like, let's say Kanyakumari. So you say, Kanyakumari is my hometown. It's a beautiful place. That's enough. Or Kanyakumari is my hometown. It is beautiful place, and it's it lies at the end of India. Something like this. More than enough. Don't speak more than that. Okay. Now, understanding these small things. Okay. Use simple verbs. Now, for those who don't know what verbs are action words. So here when I say I love my dog, love is the word verb. So please use very, very simple verbs like love, like, dislike, hate. Are you fond of video games? I'm sorry, I dislike video games. Don't say something like, video games make me very, anxious. Don't go into too much description when it comes to task one. Be really, really clear. And sometimes you can add an adverb. So that makes it, I really love my dog. That's enough. Don't, do more than that. Okay. This is your sentence structure. Now, a webinar is not a very ideal place because you don't have the time and the connection. I don't really know any of you well enough to understand each of your, grasping capacity. But for those who it'll be helpful for, you can use this structure to frame your sentences: be plus adverb plus adjective plus noun. For those who are not able to understand the structure, you can always contact Red Fox Education and we can maybe arrange a class or two just so that you can understand this. Okay, but it is important because when you understand structures like this, when you understand the formula to a sentence, you won't make a mistake. But the negative aspect about understanding a formula is that sometimes you might get stuck. You won't get that fluency. So again, those are all just formulas. And the thing that you're seeing right now on the screen is basically how Red Fox Education presents its lessons. This is how, if you join classes, this is how your lessons are going to be, in this PPT format, and your tutor is going to explain every single slide to you. So this is how it's going to work. Yes. And then you have things like, for negative, don't like, and dislike and hate. These are all verbs that you can use, like and love. Same way you can use dislike and hate. Just add them wherever required. And when you're talking about things that you hate, just stick to the things that you hate or the things that you like, and don't go too much beyond giving details. Yeah. And these type of questions generally are asked only in part one, and they don't really fall or triple into the part two and the part three. Would anybody like to read? Would anybody like to read? Okay. So, another way to speak negatively about something we dislike is to use adjectives with a negative meaning. Adjectives is a word that describes the noun. So when I say, I think the level of air pollution where I live is unpleasant, air pollution is a noun, and the word unpleasant is actually describing the air pollution. It's a negative adjective, automatically telling that you dislike this. So instead of using the word dislike, instead of saying I dislike the air pollution where I live, I am saying I think the air pollution where I live is unpleasant. These are other ways that you can come up with sentences, come up with things to convey that you like or dislike something. Okay. Okay. So like I was telling you, when it comes to Red Fox Education, you'll also have, videos and PDFs of this sort. So this is how your lessons and all will look like. Okay. So for those of you who have any doubts, does anybody have any doubts that you would like to ask me? I can see that somebody is unmute there, audio, if you could ask me your doubt. Any questions, any doubts? Okay, so um, Red Fox Education basically is a British online school, and we offer English and IELTS classes. I'm talking about the courses that we offer for adults. So for adults, English and IELTS classes are available. Under English, you have spoken English, business English, and under IELTS, you have three things. One is your comprehensive, then you have a catapult, and then you have a fast track. These are three type of courses. Your comprehensive course is for beginners, those who have not given your IELTS before, those who also want to improve their language along with the IELTS. That is suggested for, comprehensive is suggested for beginners, and that has 60 classes. So you will have 60 classes in that. And then you have your catapult, and your catapult again is for those, it's kind of like an intermediate course where you have a little idea about your IELTS, but you're looking to improve your band score. That would be right for you. And that has 40 classes, or yes, 40 classes. Oh, and then you have your fast track, and in your fast track, you have 20 classes. And fast track is for those who don't really have time before the exam. So you have to just, quickly rush in through. But fast track can be done only if you have prior knowledge of IELTS. So this is what Red Fox Education offers. And because all of the content is created by British experts, you will have pre-recorded videos from British tutors. And along with that, you can see on the screen, you will have a lot of materials. You have a lot of assignments, worksheets, you have videos. Along with that, you will also get access to Red Fox app, where you can, access the podcast related to IELTS, and a lot of free and fun content. So any doubts regarding Red Fox Education? Okay. So there's a link about the for the mobile app and our Instagram and Facebook page and everything in the chat box. You can check that out, so that it'll be easy for you to download the app and use all of the material. Okay. Any doubts, any questions, anything at all? Okay. So then I think we'll just wind up here. And I will see you in the next webinar. Thank you. Have a nice day.